Okay, good evening. Welcome. Um, please confirm that you can see my screen so I can begin right away. You can just unmute yourself and respond. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so welcome to March class for Canva, the free classes that we have in Canva. So today we're going to be looking at logo designs. So logo is a very vast area of graphics in itself that we can't quite cover everything within an hour. But I will do my best to just show you around the possibilities and things that you can do in Canva, how easy it can get. But for detailed classes, we can have offline discussions about that, or you join the classes that I have, the Canva Geek Academy, where I actually take people one-on-one in depth in areas that are important to them. So more of that at the end of the class. So straight away, I'll just go right into the group. I think there were some images shared. I'll copy them and put them here. Then we'll see if we can attempt them. Okay. Let's start with the Behance logo. I've copied it. I'll paste it here. And then I'll copy the other ones also. Just give me a minute. I think there was another one. Okay. So I think we'll start with this. Yeah, I think there was one other one I was looking for one time. Slack. Let me see if I can just Google that. Images. Yep. So you can just make a copy of this and go back to where we were and paste it. So before I go on and show you how easy and quite straightforward it is to design logos in Canva, I'm going to show you a portfolio of some of my works in logo design. So as usual, my Behance. Let me start from the top. So this is a logo folio I put together recently, and at least I think 80% of these logos were done in Canva. This one completely done in Canva. So this logo is more of the idea than the technicality of the execution. It took me very little time to execute it because I knew where it was going from the ideation stage. What I was just doing here was playing with the Nigerian map as against audio waves, the visualization you see when a speech pattern is going on a screen or something. Then this is Plectrum. It's a project I worked on personally, just playing around the idea of a plectrum. The plectrum is that thing they use for plucking strings on a guitar. That thing that guitarists hold, and they use it for strumming their guitars. So just on a fruit drink design. This was the logo, and basically it's just playing with basic shapes while still spelling the word loud. So the L is combined when you look at this blue shape and this light blue shape. The L is there, the O and the U, then the D. So that's loud. Then this wasn't done in Canva, but I dare say it's close to possible in Canva. This was another one I did in Canva. So the idea was to work abstracting a chameleon, and the name was Melion Fellows. This also pathway was done in Canva. This was also done in Canva. It's for a bakery, a design for a bakery that is also into cake stuff. Yeah, and code archery. I think I've shown that here also before. Was done in Canva. This is one of my favorite, Robo Pirate, entirely made in Canva. And I'll go into them. This wasn't in Canva. This was definitely in Canva. And if you look closely, you'll see a lady's head here. And the idea of that was to just play with the word Blonde Halo, which is the name of the brand. So if you look at this shape, you'll see like a lady's face with her hair being the background color, and then the whole halo behind her. That's all on my portfolio. So I'll go to those designs here, the original design files. Like you can see, like I said, this one was just basically put together of shapes. I knew I was going to follow the Nigerian map, and that was what I did. But I would show you this one also. I can move it around. You can see that there are shapes. I can change the colors. This also was basically text and another shape. So most of the time in designing logos, it's more about knowing where you're going, what idea are you trying to put down. And so that comes with a lot of sketching, a lot of ideation, a lot of brainstorming, looking at what works, what does not, understanding the brand, what are they trying to do. But I'm not going to bore you with all of that tonight. I'm just going to go straight into the way and manner of designing logos. So we'll go back to our first page. And right off the bat, we'll start with Behance. So I'm going to make a copy of this page, delete every other thing but Behance, and straight away we can break this down into shape. And that's one way I deal with design. Everything here can be broken down into lines and shapes. Once you can successfully do that, you can design any logo, most logos, let me put it that way. So we're going to start with a basic shape, which is a square. First, I'm going to increase the size of this and place it at the center of my page. I'm going to reduce the opacity, and then we're going to create a rectangle, which is the basic form of shape that we see here, or a square. So if you remember from our previous classes, there are shortcuts that we use: R for rectangles and C for circles. So this is a rectangle but starting as a square. So I'm going to change the color to something brighter, maybe the yellow, and then reduce the size to about the size of what we can see here, and then rotate it until I see -45. Yep. And so that's it. I'm going to make a duplicate of this also, but in making this duplicate, I want to keep it in line, as this one has already fallen in place and the size is accurate. I'm going to hold on to, I'm using a Mac, so I'm going to hold on to my Option key. If you're using a Windows, you'll be holding on to your Alt key and the Shift key. So on Mac, Alt and Shift, and then I drag. And as I drag, I make a copy. And as I make a copy, I then can make another third copy. And then I'll bring another copy down this way. I can stretch this upwards. I'll make another copy of this, bring it this way, stretch it upwards until it intersects here. Same thing down here. I'll make a copy again, stretch it this way. I'll make another copy, align it to this one, and stretch it out. And right there, we've already built the foundation block of the Behance logo. However, we need to zoom in close to be sure that everything is tidy. Like you can see here, there is an overlap that is not working well. So I need to make sure this aligns well at the edge. Yep. I think that's about the only place that has an issue. So now next thing is the circle, the black circle behind it. We know the shortcut is C for circle. So it creates a circle with a C, and we change the color to black. I can then increase the size to be about the size of the circle behind. Increase it a little more. I'll take this out of the way. I'm going to delete this, and I'll select everything here and group. So I'll bring this to the center using my guideline. You can see that purple line in the middle, tells me it's in the center. And then I can right click and order it by layer, go to back, or simply just click on the object, go to position, go to layers, drag this down behind the group of yellow, and we have the Behance logo. We'll come to how to export it and to reuse it, but that's basically how to design the Behance logo. It's basic shapes. However, you won't come to this basic shape, to this design ability just by sheer luck. It's something that must have been planned. This person knew where they were going. They had sketches, and then the sketches were uploaded, and with the head of a design tool, they were able to design this. So I'm going to go on with the Slack logo, and this time I'll create a new page. I'll paste it here. Let's zoom close and increase this logo. I'm trying to find the center. Yeah. Okay, so this is quite different because the shapes are not the regular shapes. So for this one, I will have to break it down further. I know I need a rounded rectangle for this part on the center, but for this I will need a combination of both a circle and a triangle, except I can get this shape right in Canva. So the first thing to do is to see that this shape is the same thing repeated. So if we can do one, we can make a duplicate, rotate into place, and just change the color. So enough talking, let's get to work. So I'll first of all go pick any shape, maybe circle. And I'll reduce it. I'll try locating another shape by going to edit here. Let's see, can we find a shape that has a circle and a pointed corner? I doubt that. So what we'll be doing is we'll be working with a triangle. Sorry, I ought to have made a duplicate, so I'm duplicating this. Go back to edit, and I'll change it to circle. So now I'll bring this circle here, bring this triangle here. I'll zoom close. Just increase the circle to be just about the right size, and then we're trying to align this triangle also. So I'll rotate it until I get to about 45 degrees, I guess. Or let's move this out of the way first, so that we can properly look at this triangle. I think it's just fine the way it was. I'll squish it in, and then I'll bring this circle over it. Go to position. I'm going to bring this behind so that I can touch this. Oh, sorry, I ought to have changed this to a different shape. It's supposed to be the kite shape or diamond shape. Sorry, my apologies. So I'm going to make a duplicate afresh of this, and I'm going to go to edit, go to diamond shape. It's diamond, but it's overlapping, so you won't see it. So I'm going to rotate this into place. I think a square should also work in this case. And now I'm going to align it. But in my aligning it, I'm going to make sure my circle is bigger to touch the edges. Just leaving the one other edge that we don't need to be hidden. So if we put this away, okay, let's continue trying on a blank page so that the color doesn't overlap. Let me zoom closer. I think we may need to change this shape because it's bleeding out as unlike what we want. Okay, so let's delete it. Let's make a duplicate again. I'm going to choose a square this time. This time around, I'll try aligning that here. Bring it down as much as possible. And then bring back the circle and align it until they overlap at edges. So if I put this away, I think that's what we should have done from beginning. So we've gotten the first part. Let me zoom out. The next bit is this rounded square. So I'll just take this square, make a duplicate of it, Ctrl D. I don't need to change the color, but I'll change it to a rounded rectangle. I'll bring it in here, stretch it just about the same length as this, and the width also, or the height rather, and then increase the cornering until it matches. So I'm going to change the opacity so I can see that exact roundness is what it gives me. Perfect. So now I'm going to move this out of the way, select these two and group them, and I can align this here and bring this back here. Now we have the basic building block of this logo. So when we zoom out now, we can change this color to the blue that we have beneath here. So first let's start by changing the color. I'm going to select this color here, and by default the photo colors of any image you're working with in Canva is predefined there for you. So I'm going to choose this blue. I'll ungroup so that I can click this other one and choose that blue also. Then I'm going to select this yellow, change it to the same color, and I can select these two shapes and group them again, bring them back just in place. And now I can select all of them. This is quite tricky, but you can rewatch this video. I'm going to group them rather. So now I'm going to make a duplicate and bring them this way, and this time around I'm going to rotate so about 90 degrees, and I know the color that was there was green, so I'm going to click this color, choose this green. Same thing applies again, but this time around, rather than duplicate this one again and then again, I'll just select all the things on my screen, and I'll hold shift to remove this one in the background from my selection. Or better still, select everything, go to position, and in your up here you can select this, and avoid selecting the one beneath, which is our major guide. So here I'm going to group, make a duplicate, make sure it falls in line again, and this time I'm going to rotate it exactly 180 degrees or minus 180 degrees. I'll bring it down until it aligns, and I can ungroup again, excuse me. Then I'll select now to change colors. So back to this place again, choose this color, select this, choose this color for this also, and I know the last color is yellow, so I'm going to choose this color and then choose that color. So like that, we're done. So we'll go back to position and then get rid of what we have in the background. I've clicked that logo in the background. I'll delete. So now I can group everything together and keep it in the center. See how easy it is getting along designing. I'd like us to try our hands here before we come to maybe one or two here. Then excuse me again, I think I would like to show one more. Let me look for that so I don't forget. Let me go to my YouTube. We're going to try our hand on this logo. I think I've done a tutorial on that before. Yep, on this logo here. This logo here, we'll try our hands on it. I'll locate it on my Canva files and we'll work on it. So, but now we're going to copy this again and go to a new page. I'm pasting this here, and this is quite straightforward. As you can see already, we can already break this into shape going by the example that we had in our first and second. So first circle, which is C, and this pointy part of the call out sign. Now the beautiful thing about Canva is that the shapes may not readily exist in Canva as a native shape. Like when I say native shape, shapes that you can find when you come here, you know, it may not readily appear appear here for you, but you can always find shapes even under element. So I'll go to element and I'll look for, what would I look for now? Maybe a call out sign, and I'll stay under graphics. So this pointy thing is what we're looking for. So we could just look for on shape. If you search long enough, you'll find what you're looking for. And if you use the right oh sorry, I didn't type that correctly. If you use the right search terminologies also, you find what you're looking for. Like I said, this is looking close to what we can use, so I'm going to click on this, but I know this is too much, so I'm going to come to crop it just to reveal one. Say I'm done, and I'm going to reduce this down. I'll rotate this into I think that should be about 90. Yeah. But now it's looking way different from this. But anyway, you get the idea. You can borrow things. I mean, still like an artist, you can do things that you see with a little bit of difference. It doesn't hurt. So I'm gonna. And the reason why I went for this, I didn't mention, is that I know color of. If you look at this one as I brought it in now, you can see that it gives me the option to be able to change the color. So that's very important, and that's why I went for something inside what's it called, the categories of elements under graphics. So I'm going to bring the circle in here, try to stretch it to fit about that size. Please, when you're working on circles or rectangles, try not to work from the side, always from angles. Remember, when you're increasing anything, increase from the angles. Canva is even quite lenient in that there are very few things you can do and increase from the side. Some other applications are not so forgiving. Okay, so I think we're fine like this. I'll just change this to the same red, and I'll select the two of them and move them aside. Now over to this. So let's zoom in a little bit again, and it's obvious that this is a circle, this is a rounded rectangle, and these are two overlapping rounded rectangles. So I'm going to press the rectangle shortcut, which is T, just to get started, and then reduce this to about the size, and then I'll go back to edit to change this to a rounded rectangle. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. I would increase my cornering, yep, and stretch this out just about this length here. Then I would duplicate this holding my shift so that it doesn't go up and down. Shift will constrain it to stay in line. I'm going to drop this here. I'll duplicate another one, and this time I'm going to rotate it just to align with the angle of what we saw initially, and stretch this to the top. Next is what we have here, which is a circle. So I'll just press the C to create a circle, reduce the size until it's sizable, and that's it. So I'm going to select all this together and change their color to white. I'm going to make a group of them. I will then try zooming out, and I'll move this to my own logo here, and we have our logo. The next thing is just to type. Anybody can type and change the text. It's quite easy. Things that you can do in Canva. Very, 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 very fun and easy way to get things done. I can increase this together. Now, this is where the challenges come. When you begin to increase things that have rounded corners, you begin to lose the form. Watch how rounded they are here. Once I increase it, can you see? They begin to lose their form. So the best way around this is this. select this at the level where you have done it. Don't tamper with it. Just kind of bring it to the center of your page, and then go to share, go to download. We're on page 4 here. Let me be sure about that. Yes, we're on page 4. So I'm going to go to share, go to download. I'm changing this option to SVG, and I'm going to select only page 4. I'll deselect page 1, page 2, 3, say done, and I'll say download. Now that's downloading and it's done. So next thing is I want to bring it back in, and the beautiful thing about it you will see shortly. I'm going to put this on one side. I'm going to go to my uploads and upload file. Then I'll locate my download and locate the SVG. Now this is the SVG here, loading. So if I click it, it comes in place to the center. Now watch up here. The red is now editable. I can change the color. The white is now editable. I can change the color. The white is now the background. I think that's the tricky part now, but you get the idea. So I can crop this to just cover the area of the logo that I need. And the reason why we chose SVG means scalable vector graphic. If I'm getting that correctly, it means you can increase it and it will not pixelate, unlike what you have here. The more I increase this, because it's a JPEG, it's an image, you begin to see how poor the quality of the image is. But for this, because it's an SVG, you can increase it. You can use it in other softwares also. So that's how you get that done. So let's pick one or two from here. We're 30 minutes into time. We're on track. So I'm going to paste this here. I'm going to choose something that is a little bit more complicated. Which one? I think everything is basically still possible. This is just a rounded. In fact, let's just break them down by looking at them. This is a triangle with another overlapping triangle. This is a circle. Okay, I think this may look simple, but it's tricky in Canva. Okay, so let's attempt this. So the closest shape we know is circle. Go to edit. Let's see if we can find semicircle here. There isn't. Okay, very good. Then we also know that we have circles that are outlined. So instead of fill, I'm going to remove the fill here, and I'm going to change to outline. Something like this. And then we know that we'll make a duplicate. I'll make sure they are on top of each other, and I'll try to reduce the size to give us. So now if I bring this here, go to position, I'll bring this up. Now we've lost these other two rings under. So what I'll do is I'll send this to the back again, and I'll draw a square or a rectangle. And this time what I'll do is I'll try and locate the half of the circle. That's very important. Let's use a guide. So this is about the half of that circle, and I'll put this just there, right? I can get rid of this. I'll put this there. Let me zoom in a bit, and I'll change this color to white. Oh, sorry, this should be above. Sorry. So okay, sorry, it was correct where it was. Next would be go to position. Okay, I should have left that thing in view so that we can be guided, right? Let me crop this just to be showing us what we need to see. So we're trying to reveal just what we need, and in that case this should be above the green, and I think we were right by putting it up. So if I change that to white, it covers it and it reveals just these lines, and we'll need to do that same square cover for the top two black lines. So I'm going to make a duplicate, align it also, go to position and bring it down. Okay, no, I think I bring it down here. Just give me a second. Before we bring it down, I'm sorry about that. Before I bring it down, I'm going to increase the size a little bit. I'm going to download it. I'm going to get rid of, let me copy this away. I'll download it as an SVG also. The last page. Let me just select all, deselect all, and select only last page. Download. Okay, so I can go back to where I have my image. So now what we're trying to do is to get rid of this lower half. So this time around, I'm going back to upload, and this is it here. So let's move this to one corner so we're not distracted by it. I'll bring this in, go to crop, and in cropping, I'll crop just to the point where I need it. The rest also I'll do away with. Okay, so done. So now we can rotate this upside down. I'm not sure we got that number correct. It should be 180 minus 180. Okay, so the other way you can get the other half is this. Go to shapes or elements now and type semicircle, because it doesn't readily exist. Semicircle. So here we have it. So I'm going to choose one that is already facing up, reduce the size, align it, increase the size, and there we have it, our logo. We can change the color to whatever we want, and we can group it together, and there we have our logo. You can further download this again as an SVG, and then you have the same effect that you have here, where you can now change colors. And you can also use this in other softwares, Illustrator, Photoshop, and it won't pixelate, especially in vector-based softwares like CorelDRAW, Illustrator, Inkspace, what's the other one? Affinity Designer. All right, so those are the ones I wanted to show. From here, let's go over to these other ones. I'll just break them down. Before I forget, let's go back to the first page, create a new page. I mentioned something from my YouTube page, so I'm going to bring it up. I'll go to my projects, locate. I know there's a name I saved it. Some part of the design with is pitchfork. Yeah. So Canva will look through my documents and give me the design. So I'm going to click this. This is my logo here. So I'll just use this to break it down and make you see how easy it is. So everything here are basic shapes. So if I select this and keep it aside and make a copy, oh, don't worry, let me just copy it. In case we need it, I'll paste it. If you look at this, if we go into the info, right click, go to info, you'll see that it's fire. So what that means is, if I come to element, excuse me, and I type fire, I should see, and their colors can be changed. For instance, if we pick this, we can also use it and change the color. Immediately you bring in an image here, and you can see the color option available for it. Then you can actually change the color to anything you want. So that's basically what I did here. The rest were basic shapes. This is a line, this is a shape, and like an half rounded rectangle. The same shape was repeated here, the same shape was here. So overlapping all this together, let's go to the layers panel, overlapping all these things together, you can see that there's a brown beneath, there's a brown above, and in between there's a yellow. This yellow is in between the two, so that's what's giving us that impression of what we have. And all of these also are lines. They are lines. I just increased their thickness as I deemed fit, and then I typed my font here. So we're going to do that same operation on how you can get your logo reusable, that you can even print on high quality and it won't pixelate. So I'm going to download this time around. We're downloading the last page, so I'll select all and deselect, then go to page 6, download. It was already on SVG, so if I create another page so that we don't get distracted, let me just zoom out so we can see a bit of this, and I come back to upload. I'll upload my file, go back here, so you can see now I have all the colors editable, so I can change all the browns to red. It has automatically grouped all the colors here by itself. I can change it to blue, I can change them to whatever color, so that way your work is much easier. You can change the I'm not going to tamper with the white because that's the background, so I can change the yellow to what goes with purple. Let's look for something darker, but apparently it's not changing all the yellow for some reason. Something is wrong there, but you get the idea. You can actually go back and play with these things, and that's how you create logos in Canva easily. So that being said, I'm going to now go to the existing ones I've done, and I'm going to try and break them down for you. So this is Nigeria map. We'll go to element, map of Nigeria. So I bring that in, and like I said, audio waves were what I abstracted. You know, these things that you see when you're playing the music, maybe on an harp or something. So basically it was this plus this that got us this. I think I did a video for that. Let me go to my profile again. And by the way, the video you're about to watch was also done in Canva. The entire thing. So just wait for it to load. Okay. Yep. So what you just saw now was done in Canva. The video, the audio, everything. So basically, I knew I wanted to abstract these lines out of Nigeria. So what I did was I put the Nigeria map on one side. Let me just borrow one of the strokes. It can be a square, it can be a line, however you want to use it. So I just began arranging them in ways that they would, after I remove the negative space, I mean the bold map of Nigeria behind, it will reveal. And I did it carefully so that I'm not increasing the size. You have to zoom close and be stretching only at the bottom, and I did that all across, and so I arrived at this. I think that's quite explicit. If you want more on this, you can have one-on-one classes with me. We can talk afterwards on the group. Then this is very simple and straightforward. I think everything here are shapes, as you can see. So let me just try and demonstrate how that was done also. So start with rectangle. I'll come here and change it to outline. The outline is not showing because it's black and the background is black. I'm going to remove the color of the inside, and I'll change the outline color to something you can see. So I increase it again, and then I can go to edit so that I can change this to a shape close to what I'm looking for. This is the shape I'm looking for here, and I can squish it. Like I said, as you increase or decrease, you can see the effect on it also. So you have to do it at a point and then export it as SVG and bring it back in for you to be able to edit it if you want to be increasing and decreasing it. So that's how this was done. I can make a duplicate of this and change it to a circle. Can make a duplicate of that also, change it to still this shape but the inverted type of it. You get the gist. So I can increase this to accommodate the D, and in this case what I just did was duplicate this and rotate it to about -90 degrees and align everything together. Once everything is aligned and they're bearing the same weight, I can then go in and change their colors individually to whatever suits my desire. So that's how I did the loud logo that you saw. For those who are not here, let me just quickly show you that also. What's happening here? Okay. So that's what you have here. This project was entirely done in Canva. In fact, the main aim of doing this project that you're about to see was to prove that I can do everything I need to do within Canva and not go outside. Quite large, so it will take a while to load. Go already on the ones that have fully loaded, loaded to some extent. So that's the beginning of it. Let's go on to the logo folio again and see this one. This one is basically playing with text and shapes. So what I did here, anybody can as well do, is I wrote text. I deliberately wrote one in capital, one in small, just to give that playfulness feel, because that's what the brand stands for or represents. The same thing here, he, A, then the D capital, and if you look at it, the name of the font is Chewy. I select everything and I look for Chewy. So that's a Chewy font, and then I for mustache, and you can find mustache everywhere. So go to graphics, you see mustaches. So I can even this time around use this Mexican type and change the colors to my taste. It's that straightforward and easy. So I'm going to change the color of the font also. That's how I did it. And for the font that is curved, so let's even take it a bit further this time. Let's make it something that goes around it. Let's call it, or let's write the name in full again. Chew Ed Bakery and Cakery, and we want this to go around. So what we'll do is selecting the text, changing the font to whatever we want, and I think I would like them in capitals. I'll then come to effect and go to curve. Immediately you can see it changes it to a curve, and the more I curve it, the more it goes and wraps it in a circle. So I'm going to try to put that circle around this. If I want this text to be wrapped the other way around, all I need to do is slide my curve the other way around. So let's see, that's what I want. I can reduce the font. However, it's best to be sure of the font size you want before you begin all of that correction. And I can increase the space between the text, the first one. I can increase the space between the text so that they meet. And here is our logo. So I can use a color that is not so shouty. So already you get the gist. Same thing here, it was an overlapping shape, a call out sign, and a bookmark sign. Same thing here. So for this, a bit straightforward. I got this shape which already exists, and I just turned it in and out, and then putting a stroke in between gives that feel like a chameleon is sitting on a branch, and wrote the text around it also. So for this, what I just did was to add gradient. So let me duplicate this away and just try that. So when you try to give color to elements in Canva, sometimes you see them down here, but it's not showing now. So let me say I want to change this color. Okay, because it's not a native shape in Canva, you won't be able to do that. So let's try with a rectangle. So this is a rectangle. If I click this now, you can see the gradient. So I can choose gradient here, and I can further edit them. So if this is what I want to work with, for instance, and I've chosen it, if I click it one more time or come here, I can click and edit it, change the colors that blend into each other. I can add more colors if I want. It's up to me. I can rearrange these colors, bring this to the back, bring this here, anyhow I want, and I can choose the style of blend. So basically that's how I achieve this also here. I think that's also quite straightforward. This is also quite straightforward. It's a triangle, but I rounded the corners. So let's give that a try. Edit, change to a triangle, and then go to corner rounding, increase the corner rounding, and then I overlap them in a way that it will reveal this. If you go to position, go to layers, you will see all of this. So code archery was something I did for a company that's into code. I think I would like to show you that also. Let's go back. To code archery. Yeah, this is code archery. Yeah. And everything on that code archery. I'll wait for this video to load and come back. Okay, it's loaded. All this, even the logo animation, was done in Canva. This is the mock-up for a shirt design. This is the idea: a pencil, arrow tail, and line of code, which is a pencil, which is also looking like a tail of an arrow that guides it in flight, and then the line when you're typing that blinks on your screen. I made a pattern out of that, and this is the logo presented again. This is the text, these are the colors, and this is me just playing with the logo again in the background. So it's so much fun to use Canva for me to design, actually. And like you can see also Blondalo, already by now you can already pieces it that this is a circle. There is another circle here, I mean a semicircle here, or a rounded rectangle that is halfway, and there's another rectangle here, and a blend of colors happening here, which is what I just showed you. I can change it to any other color. Sorry, I can change this to any other color. And then in typing this font, I made sure I selected the other half and give it another color, so I can change it as well. It's pretty straightforward. And to my very precious one here, this Robo Pirate, I designed it for a skateboarding club. So this one is basically lines and working with font that also suits what I'm working on. So as you can see, this is an half circle, and I removed the fill but gave it outline. Same thing, circle here, circle here. You can already tell these are lines, and this is a rectangle. Sorry, this is a rounded rectangle that is halfway slashed also, and these are lines. And so everything put together just rhymes, and then I have it. Like I said, the logo will not give itself to you. You have to work on it. I mean, work on the idea that bets it. It's when the idea is put together as sketch, as a thought, that you can then come to a software. So it's not Canva, it's not Photoshop, it's not Illustrator or anything that gets you the logo done. It's what you've already formed up in your mind, or what you've already come to at the place of brainstorming and sketches that gets you here. So this one was a bit tricky, so let me make a duplicate also of this. Now this is another shape that is not directly in Canva. If I go to the info, you see the name of it, swash swoosh tail. So if you type that in element, swash swoosh tail, see all. So you see similar stuff already. I think was it this? No, it's not this. Something around here you find it. So basically this is the rectangle that is rounded on one side, and also a smaller square rounded on one side, and then putting them together with their color gives you that effect of a part that is actually moving through the P, and then making the colors blend equally also here, and then in general an outward rectangle. I'm sure you guys are enjoying this.